The World Cup might be the single best money-making month of the year for a regular person with a car. Here's the part nobody mentions. Most people are about to make beginner money doing it, while the few who know one simple thing make nearly double. Same hours, same car, same effort. And that difference isn't hustle, and it isn't luck. It's one piece of information the apps would honestly rather you never put together. My cousin's husband Marcus tripped over it halfway through the tournament, and it flipped his entire summer. So I'm just going to hand it to you up front. Marcus is no hustle bro. Warehouse job, 2 kids, drives nights and weekends for a little breathing room. This summer, he had exactly one goal taped to his dash: 2 tickets to the final for him and his wife, Maria. And look, before you roll your eyes at another side hustle video, I'm not here to tell you to grind harder, wake up at 4 a.m., or rise and shine. It's honestly the opposite. This is about working the same hours you were already going to and just not leaving half the money sitting on the table. So when the cup kicked off, he did what every article and every guy with a podcast tells you to do. Fire up the big-name food delivery app, because the biggest weekend of the year has to mean the biggest money. Makes total sense. It's also the exact mistake almost everybody makes. Opening night, his whole city turned into a block party. Flags on every porch, projector screens glowing on driveways, grills going down the block. He rolled into it sure this was his night, and for the first couple hours it genuinely was. Orders stacking, bags flying, that groove where the money feels automatic. Then kickoff hit, and so did every other driver with the same bright idea. 40 cars circling the same 3 restaurants, all fighting over the same orders. He went from flying to parked, just watching the night slip by while the goals happened without him. By the end, 6 hours on the biggest night of the year added up to about 1 slow weeknight's pay. And here's the important part, the part that should actually make you hopeful. The problem wasn't Marcus, and it wasn't the World Cup. He just walked into the most crowded room in the city and tried to stand out. When everybody piles onto the famous app never has to pay more. There's always somebody behind you who will take the order for less. So the fix was never work harder. It was walk into a different room. Marcus almost wrote the whole thing off that night. Instead, he gave it one more Saturday. And that Saturday is where his entire summer turned around. He's at the big superstore, and the parking lot looks like a tailgate. Families in matching jerseys, a guy hauling a cart stacked with party trays. And he clocks another driver. Same exact car as his, calmly loading bags of groceries and pulling away whistling, like he just found the easiest money in town. Now rolling your window down to ask a total stranger, "Hey, am I doing this wrong?" That is a hard thing to make yourself do. Marcus did it anyway. Best 2 minutes of his whole summer. The guy just grins. I used to grind the restaurant apps too, man. Then I switched to grocery runs. 1 store, 1 big order. No lobby full of drivers elbowing me for the same bag. Nobody's really figured it out yet, so the pay's just better. And Marcus just stands there for a second, because it's that simple and that dumb. He'd been showing up to the hardest possible version of the job, while this guy quietly worked the easy version 100 feet away. Same parking lot, same World Cup, completely different night, and that's the number that matters, the hopeful one. Grocery delivery has been paying its drivers right around twice what the crowded food apps pay, hour for hour. Same car, same gas, same time away from the kids, for roughly double the money. That's not a tip or a trick. That's just the going rate in the emptier room. And the reason is almost too simple. Barely anyone's over there yet. Fewer drivers, bigger orders, way less competition for each one. It isn't a harder job. It's a quieter lane the crowd hasn't found. So the pay hasn't been bid down. The part that gets me. That app had been sitting on Marcus's phone the entire time. He'd scrolled right past it 100 times. It just never once looked like money. So he signs up, and by the very next match weekend, he's running groceries instead of dinners. And it's a completely different world. He's strolling a cart through a bright store instead of idling outside a slammed kitchen, handling one big order instead of chasing 10 tiny ones. And not one other driver is breathing down his neck for the same bag. Even the doorsteps got better. A guy in a jersey flings the door open, like Marcus personally scored the goal. A grandma tips him in a plate of tamales. For 20 seconds at every house, he's standing inside the exact party he spent opening night locked out of. Same driveway, same phone, end of the night. Nearly double what opening weekend paid him, in fewer hours. Same guy, same car. He just stopped competing with the crowd and started picking the emptier room. And that night, he did something he hadn't done in a while. He texted Maria a photo of the earnings screen with one word: booked. Those final tickets just went from someday to done. And sit on that for a second, because it's the entire point. Nothing about Marcus actually changed that week. Same car, same dent in the bumper, same hours squeezed between his warehouse shift and his kid's bedtime, same tired guy who'd almost quit a few days earlier. The only thing that changed was which app he opened. And that one swap was the whole difference between a summer of scraping by and a summer where the math finally tipped in his favor. And honestly, the bigger number was never even the best part. The best part was that text to Maria. It was the first weekend in a long stretch where the driving felt like it was building towards something instead of just barely keeping the lights on. That's the part they can't fit into a recruiting ad. What it actually feels like to be in the right room for once. And that's exactly why I'm walking you through his story, instead of just rattling off numbers. Because the version that matters here isn't his. It's yours. Maybe you're not chasing tickets to a final. Maybe it's catching up a credit card, or just one summer that doesn't feel like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Whatever it is for you, the move is the same, and it's sitting one lane over from where everybody else is fighting for scraps. So let me show you exactly where that lane is, and why almost nobody's standing in it yet. And here's why this matters way past one World Cup. The famous app is almost always the crowded room. The better money is usually one lane over where everybody hasn't piled in yet. You just have to be willing to look. And the drivers who really do well, they don't even pick one app. They run 2 or 3 at once and take whichever offer pays best that minute. That habit alone tends to bump people 20 to 40% on the hour. Same time on the road, just smarter about which ping you say yes to. The cup just pours fuel on all of it, because 2 out of 3 fans watch from home. That's 1,000 living rooms ordering at the same time, every single match, whether your city is hosting a game or not. The demand is absolutely there. Most people are just standing in the wrong line for it. Now, I'm not going to blow smoke at you. There's a catch. And honestly, it's the reason this keeps working so well. The best grocery zones have a gate. Some towns wave you in within a couple days. The busy ones run a waitlist. But that gate is the whole reason the pay stays high. They cap how many drivers get in. So a waitlist isn't a rejection. It's a flashing sign that you found the good room. Get in line. Keep driving whatever you've already got, and you're ready the second it opens up. And here's the half almost nobody talks about. The half that quietly turns this into real breathing room. Keeping what you make. Every single mile you drive for this knocks money off what you're taxed on. Track them from your very first trip, and that's a genuine chunk of cash back in your pocket at tax time. One heads up so spring doesn't sting. Working for yourself, you owe a bit more tax than a regular paycheck, the part your boss used to quietly cover. Nothing scary, just tuck a little aside from each payout, write off every mile, and you keep your summer instead of handing a piece back in April. So here's your move, and it really does take about 2 minutes. Tonight, download a grocery delivery driver app, tap and roll, and check your zone. Open, you could be live by the weekend. Waitlisted? Join it anyway, it's free, and keep driving what you've got in the meantime. Then do the next driver a favor, drop your city and what you got, open or waitlist, down in the comments. A few thousand of us checking at once basically builds a live map of where this thing works. And I'll be straight with you. Marcus isn't special. He didn't have some edge you don't have. He just got this one piece of information a week too late. And you're getting it a month early. That's the entire difference, and it's completely in your hands. As for Marcus, by the time the final rolled around, he wasn't parked outside somebody else's watch party delivering to it. He was hosting his own on his own couch, Maria right beside him. And those 2 tickets that almost didn't happen? Framed on the wall. Because his rough opening night was never a hustle problem. The guy works plenty hard. It was an information problem. And you just got the information. There's a whole month of World Cup left. You can't control the algorithm and you can't control the waitlist. But the app you decide to open on Saturday morning, that one is entirely yours. Go make this one count. Make more, keep more, and I'll see you in the next one.